Hi, Eric here with the Lewis County Scoop, and today we've got on Jim Ingram. He is the Republican candidate for U.S. House, representing Missouri's 6th District.
The sponsor of this Lewis County Scoop podcast is FHC Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. From heating and air conditioning to plumbing repairs and service calls, FHC helps keep your home or business running right across Northeast Missouri and West Central Illinois. Call Blake today at 573-822-4284. FHC Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Sponsor does not control or endorse the views expressed in this program.
How you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great.
Good. So the 6th District, that's pretty much all of North Missouri.
Yes, it is.
West, correct? Yeah. Is it how far south? Is it above I-70?
Or basically Missouri River North,
except
for around St. Louis. There's about 6 or 7 counties got carved out. So there's 32 plus a sliver of Jackson County on the north side of Kansas City. So it's 32 plus counties involved.
Well, for those that will be watching, they don't know you. Maybe just introduce yourself. Give us a little bit of a background.
Sure. I'm an Army veteran. I spent 4 years in the Army after college. After college, I went into the private sector for 40 plus years and worked at 4 banks, 2 utility companies. I'm involved in 3 business startups.
Oh, my.
The last business startup my wife and I started in 1998. The company is located in Liberty, Missouri, Clay County, still operational today. My daughter runs the day-to-day business right now, so that frees me up to run for Congress. I also wrote a book during that time frame. So I've got a wide variety of private sector experience that a lot of my competitors don't have. And I've experienced a lot of things in my life with small business, like a lot of small business people. There's a financial hardship and regulatory hardship. And financial hardship, about 6 or 8 weeks into the company, we hit a really dry spell. And the company was supported by my wife and I and my daughter and her family, and it could no longer do that. So I got my CDL license and drove a tractor trailer for a little bit over a year to get through the low spot, if you will. We came out on the other side and everything was okay. The other thing, regulatory hardship. I want to take my business into California, and to get licensed in California, we knew it'd be really hard and expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Took us 3 years and $300,000 to get licensed in California. Outrageous. But we got licensed. So 5 years down the road, I had a positive trajectory as far as customers and whatever else, and we were making money. Actually made about $90,000 in that 5-year period over our cost, which is fantastic. I was very happy. Well, the problem is the state of California, they want to do an audit every 5 years of your business to make sure you're complying regulatory-wise and financial-wise. They did the audit. We passed. They let us know that, oh, by the way, we spent $90,000 on your audit. And you would think they would just charge an expense account in their budget for that $90,000. No, they sent us a bill for $90,000. And that wiped out our entire profit for the first 5 years. And that didn't include $20,000 that we paid our attorney in California to help negotiate some of the ins and outs for the audit. So we quietly backed out and said, thank you, but no thanks, like a lot of companies have done in California. So that's kind of just in my first background.
Right. Gotcha. Nice. Well, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate that. So, well, the big question, I guess, is what sparked your interest in running for Congress?
As I mentioned earlier, I wrote a book published in 2023 and sent about 200 copies out to a whole bunch of people to influence them to hopefully bring up my book as a subject matter. The last half of the book is about the Constitution and ways we could tweak it to make it better, to better serve the people of the United States. Got no response, basically, and I decided, like a lot of people, I mean, if you want to have something change, then you're going to have to get off the couch and make it happen yourself.
Right.
So I decided I'd run and try to make something happen myself and get some skin in the game, and that's the reason I'm running.
For the people of Northeast Missouri, what do you think's the biggest issue facing us up here in rural Northeast Missouri? Because sometimes we feel so small up here. Washington's a big machine.
Yes, it is.
Sometimes it feels like maybe our voice doesn't really have that much impact.
Well, one of the key first things, the predecessor never got up here to visit with people. And part of my campaign is I have a goal of going to every county once a year and having a town hall and face-to-face. I'll tell you what I'm doing for you in D.C., and you ask me questions and tell me what I should be doing or shouldn't be doing to make life better for you guys. That's number one. Number two, I've also tried to educate myself about farmers and ranchers.
Mhm.
I joined the Missouri Farm Bureau last year. We went to the state convention at the Lake of the Ozarks, met a lot of great farmers and ranchers, learning a lot about farming and ranching. And one of the gals told me, "Look, we need our people to stay in contact, politicians to stay in contact, because every couple
Yes.
of years things change. And if you don't come and see us and talk to us, we can't tell you how it's changing."
Right.
And so that's really important. I know on the input side, on the agriculture, there's a lack of competition. Prices are going through the roof. On the output side, you've got like cattle where there's 2 or 3 or 4 people. They're doing all the buying. So there isn't a whole lot of competition there to drive prices up. And there's some structural changes need to be made to make things more competitive, both on the input side and the output side.
Northeast Missouri is rural.
Yep.
How would you make sure places like Lewis County, Knox County, Marion County, Clark County are not forgotten in Washington, D.C.?
The key thing is to have somebody who will come by at least once a year and look you in the face and talk to you and listen to your needs. And that way you won't be forgotten.
Yeah.
Again, the predecessor didn't do that. A lot of people felt like they were abandoned and left to just whatever. But it
Just left out to the
just left out in the wilderness.
left out for the wolves, right? So, what would you do in Congress to support farmers, small businesses, and working families?
One of the biggest things is regulation. It kills a lot of businesses or puts a stranglehold on
Mhm.
businesses so they can't do what they need to do. I experienced that myself in my own business. And you need to send somebody to Washington who can look at legislation or propose amendments that can look at the wording and say, oh, this is going to create an undue burden on whoever they're trying to
Mhm.
do whatever with. Washington's really big on creating reporting procedures. They want to know all the nitty details about everything, and it just creates extra paperwork for small businesses and everybody else. And it strangles them.
Yeah.
And you can't have that. You need someone there to make sure that the regulatory folks and the laws that get passed don't add to that burden.
Right. Let's talk about the federal government's love of spending money. Uh, what would you do to help, I think, curb that spending and balance the budget?
One of my things is a balanced budget amendment. And without a balanced budget amendment, the politicians will never reduce their spending unless they
Mhm.
have to fulfill the requirement for a balanced budget amendment. Right now, politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, they like to spend money because it
Mhm.
makes people happy. People come up to them and say, "Hey, I'd like to have this program for $10 million. I can really help some people out." "Oh, I can help you right out."
Mhm.
And we need to stop that. We need to say, well, let's prioritize the programs that really work and those that don't. And yes, that's nice, but this other program will do the same thing if we just tweak it or whatever. There needs to be, like our individual budgets, there needs to be some decision making and prioritizing of the spending, and that's not happening today. And where they're spending money willy nilly, and it's going to kill our kids and our grandkids
Mhm.
down the road unless we do something now about it.
Yep. Um, you said on your website you
Yep.
support term limits.
Yes.
What would what should those term limits look like?
I'm suggesting in my book that 12 years would be a great number. They give the senator 2 terms.
Mhm.
House of Representatives would be 6 terms, and they give plenty of time to be there to get experience and then do their thing and then rotate out and let somebody else in. Right now, we have the Nancy Pelosi's and Chuck Schumer's of the world have been there for 40 years, way too long. They
Mhm.
get too ingrained and they have a great memory like an elephant. And this guy upset me 10 years ago and I got a grudge against him, so I'm not going to make him happy or compromise or whatever else. And we need some natural turnover, just like we have in the state of Missouri.
Right.
We have term limits, and it's worked very well for us.
Mhm. Um, you've talked about a constitutional convention.
Yes.
Uh, first of all, explain in simple terms what is that for the
Well,
people who may not know?
you can have a constitutional convention, and the convention can propose amendments to the Constitution. It still has to go through a process of being passed by 3/4 of the states in order to become law or in the Constitution. But the convention can propose those amendments and get them out for everyone to look at. Right now, Congress also has the same ability to propose amendments, but they don't want to do that. They don't want to have term limits. They don't want to have a balanced budget. They just soon all that stuff go away.
Mm-hmm.
And part of my goal is what the states are doing right now. There's 20 states that have percolated up from the bottom up. So we want a convention of the states to propose amendments to the Constitution. Missouri did that in 2017. Kansas just passed theirs in March of this year. So there's 20. There are 6 more in the queue that were one of the 2 legislatures have already passed it, and they're waiting for the other half of the legislature to do their thing. So that's about 26. So you just need a few more on top of that in order to warrant a convention of the states.
So a convention of the states that would bypass U.S. Congress in passing amendments. Is that
the states have got to approve the amendments?
okay?
So if they propose them, then if 3/4 of the states agree that this should be added to the Constitution, it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Election integrity. It's one of your issues. What specific changes would you like to see to elections?
A lot of the there's the SAVE Act or the Save America Act. Part of what I'm proposing is in that also. We need to have paper ballots. We need to have proof of citizenship when you register to vote. And we also need to have a photo ID when you do go vote.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Great.
make sure that only Americans are voting. Also, we need to have every party needs to have a primary for every office. Right now, there's 2 different situations. We have nonpartisan elections for like mayor or school boards
Mm-hmm.
where people don't have to identify what party they belong to. So how are you supposed to know unless you do a whole
Right.
lot of research and find out what these people want to do and how they actually lean? The other flip side is jungle primaries like they do in California. Like governor currently, they have 2 Republicans running against 4 or 5 Democrats, and they're all on the same ballot. They identify who they are as far as parties, but they're a one ballot. And what they do is take the 2 highest vote getters and they go to the general election and they have a runoff between those 2.
Mm-hmm.
What typically happens, like in California, we know the Democrats are more organized than we are. We know they spend more money than we do on elections. And what typically happens, you get 2 Democrats at the top. You choice between one Democrat and a bad Democrat. So if the Republicans had a primary and the Democrats had a primary, then they meet and you give the voters a choice as far as which direction they want to go. The state should also run elections. I don't like caucuses. The couple examples. Iowa 2020, the Democratic Party had a software package that they were going to count the votes for the caucuses and had the results like that the same night.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, 5 days later, they finally had the results.
Mm-hmm.
They have no business. The party has no business running elections and counting the votes because a lot of times the parties are biased. And a great example of that is 2024 when Biden and the Democratic leadership decided that Biden would not participate in Iowa caucuses. And then Biden and the senior leadership decided he was going to participate in New Hampshire primary. South Carolina was going to be the first place he ran and participated because they knew he'd win South Carolina. That's wrong. The party shouldn't be able to make those things happen that way because it takes away the competition for Biden in Iowa and New Hampshire. It might expose some of his weaknesses before then. Well, they worked just as planned, swept it, got the nomination, and I think they knew they had a flawed candidate, so they had an early debate with Trump just to make sure he could pass mustard.
Yeah, I remember that.
And about 12 minutes in, he fell on his face, and the rest is history. And you end up with a candidate, Kamala Harris, never received a single vote for the presidency in a primary. And that's their candidate. So we need to take away some of the powers of both Democrat and Republican leadership so that the states determine the order in case of the presidential election,
Right.
and they need to count the votes rather than politicians.
Right.
More back to the people.
Yes, more back to people where they have more control rather than the party driving the direction of the party. The people in the party should be driving the direction that the party is going to go.
So
Yeah.
when you say at that level, like even the lower levels, mayorals or aldermans or school boards. You want them to declare for it.
Yeah. Otherwise, the average person has no idea who
Right.
they should be voting
I
for.
get that. Yeah, totally. And I mean, one of the stipulations now, like what we got at Missouri, being we have an operating budget under a certain amount, we don't have to,
Okay.
is what the rule is on it now. So I don't know if there's something that would have to be changed on that or not. But I'm just an example,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, if you change it at the federal level and made that part of the Constitution,
Right.
then that would just
slow down.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd flow down from there, which I think would be the wise thing to do. Um, need more competition, need to be like truth in lending. You need to identify who you are and what you stand for when you run for election. I'm just kind of in between neutral kind of guy.
We probably already know the answer to this, but what's your position on border security and illegal immigration?
We need border security. Illegal immigration needs to stop. We need to continue it as much as we can. The border walls being built or completed. And that was the biggest failure of the Biden administration, let all these millions of people in undocumented, unvetted, whatever, and has caused this great chaos. They want to have future voters for voting Democrat. I'm sure that was the motivation for all that happening.
So there's other candidates running
Yes.
in this primary. What separates you from them?
Again, I have private sector experience for 40 plus years. I don't want to get into specifics with other candidates, but they have very little private world experience, so they don't know if they presented a legislation to look at, they wouldn't know how that would affect the people on the back end after it's passed. I do. It's a big thing. I've been through life and 40 plus years, and I been around the corner once or twice, or around the block once or twice, so I kind of know how things work. A lot of these younger people have no idea. They haven't experienced life enough. And I can bring all those life experiences to bear in the critical eye when it comes to legislation and making amendments to legislation so it's more palatable on the back end.
Yeah. So you've never ran for political office before?
No, I was a precinct person in Kansas,
Got you.
elected twice, but that's it. And so I bring a totally new and fresh ideas.
So you're not a career politician?
I'm not a career politician. And I also promised not to run over or be in office more than 4 terms. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to get out.
Yeah.
Let the next person come up and do their thing.
Yep. What is your message directly to Lewis County and Northeast Missouri voters? And just speak to them and what maybe touch on how important these midterms are.
The midterms are very important because they're going to be a low turnout, and every vote will count. And a lot of people won't get off the couch to go vote, which is sad. I've reached out a couple of papers here locally trying to talk to them, and they're just nowhere to be found. They send emails, you make phone calls, and they're not involved. And if the journalists aren't involved, that makes it hard for anyone else to get involved to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
You go through the party mechanism, and you get groups of people that want to know what's going on. And that is about the only way you can reach out unless you have some other network. It's you need to get involved to make a positive change. If you don't get involved, then you can't complain about the results. And the primary is the key area because we have 5 people running for Congress. And there's a big difference between the 5 as far as experiences and what they have. And I'm the most, I believe, well-rounded in private industry and my own small business that to bring the right experience to bear to help the people out to the biggest advantage, I guess.
What is your opinion? Because there's a lot of talk in social media right now about AIPAC, which is the American Israeli lobbyist organization. What's your opinion of that organization?
Well, the relationship we have with Israel is strategically important. They're our only ally in the area. They have a democracy or a republic. If we don't have Israel and support Israel, we would be in dire straits in the Mideast.
Right.
and they help us out in a lot of ways. We help them out a little bit. It
We help them out a lot,
well,
actually.
we help them out a lot. I agree, but
Uh,
you got to help out the underdog sometimes
Right.
to stay above water.
Yeah.
We need to, and there's a lot of anti-Semitism going on in this country, and we need to support Israel as much as we can in some way, shape, or form, so that they can do what needs to be done in the Middle East to give the example of democracy or republic to the other Middle Eastern countries and evolve into a better
Right.
state of government.
Well, and I bring that up because it is a big social media topic. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, they brought that up. And they've actually dug into a lot of stuff. And I've always been a supporter of Israel. They have a right to exist. My true support is, I think too many times we mix up Israel and the Bible and Jesus Christ. There's a little bit of a mixture there that's not um, totally legit, but because that's where my faith's in Jesus Christ, not
Yep.
Israel.
Yep.
Israel didn't die for us. Jesus Christ did. It just sometimes seems like it becomes lopsided. You know what I mean? We spend a lot of money and I don't know if it's all in the best interest of America. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
and that's in my opinion of some of those policies have changed over the years. If you'd asked me 3 years ago, Israel should deserve everything we can do to help them out.
Yeah.
But also feel like the Israeli government has done some things that may not be up to par as far as ethical standards.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I just feel like it's become a big topic, and it's something that I'm going to ask every candidate that comes
Sure. Sure.
on their stance on AIPAC. I'm going to ask them if you have you taken any money from AIPAC? Has AIPAC reached out to you in any way to help support you?
I haven't taken any money from AIPAC yet.
Gotcha.
I think one of the biggest reasons for public opinion is Hamas, Gaza,
Yeah.
Lebanon. They've been firing rockets at Israel for decades, and they've had the ability to defend themselves. And
Yeah.
basically, no one got hurt.
Yeah.
No harm, no foul, I think is what the left thinks. And finally, they go across the border on October 7th and kill a whole bunch of people, and they attack and go back and try and defeat Hamas and Hezbollah. Oh, you're doing all these bad things. Well, these other folks have been firing rockets for 2-3 decades
Oh,
at
yeah.
Israel, and they don't seem to take that into account because really nobody was harmed because Israel is smart enough to defend themselves. So, and then they reach out and do the terrible things on October 7th, and it's just they have to do what they have to do to survive.
Yeah.
And you have to decapitate the leadership, just like we need at some point in time. Iran's leadership has to change because by what they're doing now, you don't see any change in their philosophy on how to govern.
Mhm.
And so the people, I think, have to step up in Iran and change their government if at all possible.
Yeah, that's the Iran, and I'm not saying they're that government's bad.
Yeah.
100%. But public opinion right now is really, let's get something done, get it finished, and get out of there because this is becoming drawn out. And it seems like every other week, President Trump says, we're going to reach a peace agreement. It's going to be over, and then we just continue on. So, and I'm not digging on President Trump.
Yeah.
I'm just the American people don't want another endless war in the Middle East.
I agree.
We got people here that are financially hurting.
I think
So-
Trump is using the bully pulpit to try to soothe everyone's fears and things are going to be fine.
Right.
Give us a little bit of time. We're squeezing them every way, shape we can, form we can. And you just have to let it play out. And we're a society where we want results right now. And the best thing sometimes is you have to be a little bit patient. And I think he's trying to talk everyone down from the stress levels. And like gasoline or oil's come down quite a bit in the last week or two, down to about $90 a barrel, excuse me. And so things are heading in the right direction. I think Saudi Arabia and the UAE they have pipelines now to basically bypass Hormuz. And I think that's being felt, although no one's covered it that I'm aware
Right.
of, and kind of diverting the flow of oil around so you don't have to go through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
And that's all good things for the long term. And we need to put a final solution in place for
Yes.
this, and the world will be a lot better
Yep.
place.
Definitely. Well, Jim, you want to just speak to the camera to the constituents and maybe just tell them why they should vote for you for Congress?
Sure. I have one goal and 3 promises I'll make you. Number one, the first goal is to visit every county in the district once a year and look in your eye face to face and answer your questions. You can tell me what needs to be done or not be done. The 3 promises: I will support Trump any way I can. The last 2 years he's in office. I will not vote for any tax increases on you or your businesses while I'm in Congress. And I'll not spend more than 4 terms in Congress. And I think there's a unique approach, and hopefully it'll resonate with the people. The people who watch this, and I tell people in gatherings I go to, you're the most important people in the political process because you're listening to multiple candidates and making an informed decision about how to vote. And your friends and neighbors know you are involved with the Republican Party and you have done your homework. So they're looking for some sort of feedback from you that, oh, this guy or this guy is the best guy. And so I just encourage people to get involved, get yard signs, help candidates you think are the best for you. Uh, we are a party that likes to be left alone, but for the government to leave us alone, we have to get involved.
Right.
Because otherwise, the Democrats will get involved, and it will just things will not turn out well. The last thing is you have to vote for someone's walked a mile in your shoes, if you will, and married 40 plus years, veteran, 40 plus years also in the private sector, small business owner. I've been through the things you had, a lot of people have been through, and I can make intelligent decisions as far as legislation, amendment to legislations that will help you out in the long term. So I guess that's about it.
All right. Well, Jim, thank you for coming on.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
Thank you for the
Appreciate
time.
it. Wes, do you have anything for him?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. Jim Ingram, he is Republican candidate running for the U.S. House representing Missouri's 6th District.
The sponsor of this Lewis County Scoop podcast is FHC Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. From heating and air conditioning to plumbing repairs and service calls, FHC helps keep your home or business running right across Northeast Missouri and West Central Illinois. Call Blake today at 573-822-4284. FHC Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.